Greetings everyone. So today what I have for you is CoinOps. So CoinOps is very similar to something like RetroPie or Big Box. The only difference is that this does run on a PC, much like Big Box, but it's a lot simpler. So with the last video, I brought you an overview of the cabinet, the hardware, the control deck from DIY arcades.com. This time I wanted to bring you guys just the software that I'm using. So on this iteration of this cabinet, I'm using something a lot simpler. So with the last cabinet, I used Big Box, which is one of those systems or one of those front ends that is very granular. So if you're not careful, you can definitely fall into a rabbit hole, much like I did. It's great if you want something specific, you want to set it a certain way. But for me, it was just a lot of settings that I didn't necessarily need to mess with, but I did just because I'm that type of person. So I think I spent more time setting it up than I actually did playing. So this time around, I definitely wanted to play more games or spend more time playing. So that's why I went with something simple. And that's why I went with CoinOps. And it's CoinOps Arcade Gold Plus, to be specific. So let's start. So some background on my hardware. I am using a PC. So the PC that I'm using is probably about 12 years old. It used to be my brother-in-law's PC, but he gave it to me. And it's actually a PC that he built himself. So it has a i5 2400K overclocked to 4 gigahertz. It has 8 gigs of RAM, 500 gigabyte storage, and it has a GT 1030. So I installed that GT 1030. Originally, it came with a Radeon card. I'm not really sure which one it was, but it was definitely an older one. But I did add the GT 1030. All right, so let's take a look. So here you can see my screen, and as you can see, it's just a Windows PC. I do have the CoinOps folder there, and I'm going to take my handy dandy. Did it turn off? Oh, wait, I've got to push a button here. My handy dandy keyboard. I definitely recommend you get one of these if you have a cabinet, simply because it saves you so much space. So we're going to open up the folder, and there it is, Arcade Gold Plus. So yeah, it's just a bunch of files, and basically what you do is you go to Arcade. So there's different ones actually. There's one that has 300 games, one that has 150 games. I just use the one that says all, because it has all the games. Oh, knocked the camera there. So we'll just give it a second, let it start up. All right, so there you go. So this is it, really simple. The thing that I love is that it's simple, but it looks really good too. So we have my favorites, we have old school, beat 'em up, run and gun, fight club, or these are fighting games, fight club, shoot 'em ups, puzzlers, sports, racers, console. So that's one thing about this particular build. It does have a lot of console games. So it has like Sonic, Mario Brothers, you can see it has Contra, Earthworm Jim. So a whole lot of console games that I'm probably never gonna play. So for me specifically, I go here. This is where I have all the games that I'm gonna play. So you can see down there, there's 120 games that I chose as my favorites. So as you can see here, this is the way the UI looks. So it has a picture of the cab and it has videos. And I'll just scroll through some of these. So most of the games that I have are arcade. Actually, let me go this way. There's only 2 instances where they're not, which is this game, which is Afterburner Climax. This is actually a PS3 game that's running on RCPS3, which is a PS3 emulator. And with this particular system that I have, it actually runs pretty good. So I'll show you guys that. The only thing that I found about this particular one is that, or this particular emulator, is that I can't exit the game. So I have to close it out, just basically by hitting escape and closing out the actual emulator with, closing out the little X on the top. So I know that there's a way, there has to be a way for me to do that, but I just haven't figured it out yet. But yeah, as you can see here, it's running, starting it up. And then we will press And then I'll just load up the game here. So arcade, choose an what is this, F-14D, Super Tomcat. I don't know anything about airplanes, so, but it sure does look cool. So yes, obviously, as you can see, this is a lot nicer than, you know, the original, and it does work. So shooting, so cannons, rockets, and it does work. So let's go up, down, speed it up, or actually that was, oh, I got hit there. So yeah, pretty cool. So I can press pause. The only thing, unfortunately, I can't exit out. So the way that I have to exit out is just press escape and then press the X, and then that automatically just closes it out for me. So the other thing is controls. So CoinOps is designed to be very simple. So if you're not going to attach this to a cabinet, if you're just going to play it on your TV, it's super simple. All you have to do is attach an Xbox 360 controller and you're set. There's no configuration whatsoever. If you're going to attach this to a cabinet, then there is some work that you have to do to change controls and stuff like that. So there are menus that you have to select. There's a menu for you to enable the zero delay encoders, and there's another option that you have to enable for it to actually allow you to change controls. So super simple too. So we'll take this game. This is a MAME game because it's emulators are MAME, or at least for the games that I'm using are MAME, RCPS3, and then there's a Dreamcast emulator, and it's running through RetroArch. So when you first load it up, everything will work just fine in the UI as far as the controls, but once you get into the game, it won't work. So you do have to press tab on a keyboard and go into settings. So here I've already added hotkeys to my controls. So you just go to general controls, and then you just change everything from there. So here I already have everything set up, so there's not anything else I need to change. And I just realized that I'm moving the camera. Hopefully that doesn't show. I can see the camera being jostled. But yeah, everything works. Everything's great. Let's see. So I'll exit out that one. But yes, the other game that I play on here that does not use MAME or RCPS3 is one of my favorites, and that is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So with this game, again, setting controls is pretty simple. All you have to do is actually go into the emulator and just switch up the controls. So super easy, and you're done. So yeah, this one works just fine. The cool thing about this one, whoever set this one up actually passed the game first, so all the characters are available, which is nice. One thing to note about this though, is for, at least for RCPS3, is that you do need a somewhat beefy system to run it. I haven't really been keeping up with RCPS3 development, but I know that, you know, maybe last year or the year before, you really needed a beefy system. Obviously mine isn't that great of a system. It's a 12-year-old system and it still works fine, but I'm not sure how demanding that game is to run. So your mileage definitely may vary with at least that game. But yeah, as you can see, super nice. It's just really simple. It's simple and it's elegant. It has the arcade machine. It has the video snap. It's just really nice. I did have some issues with setting favorites. I'm not sure what happened. For the first few weeks it wasn't working, and then all of a sudden it just started working, so I was able to set my favorites. But yeah, I don't know what happened there, but everything's working now. So now when I play, I mean, all these are my favorite games, so I don't have to, ooh, this is a big one too. But yeah, when I play, I don't have to fumble through all those. You know, there's about 1,000. There's 940 some games. Definitely not going to play through all of those. So having the ability to set up my favorites is cool. And this one I was actually surprised that it was in here. I didn't realize it was in here because there were so many games. When I finally actually took the time to look through them all, I found this one. And this is one of my favorites. When I was a kid, I actually played this one on the PS1, but I do know that it was pretty big in the arcade. But yeah, this one runs flawlessly. So I'll just show you real quick. I'm not a huge football fan, but this game was always really cool. I just remember on the PlayStation 1 there was a demo disc. I think it might have been the PlayStation Underground demo disc. This game was on there and I would just play that demo disc forever. So as you can see, here it is. Oh. And I really haven't, to be honest, I haven't played this one a whole lot, but I do know that it's there, so I'll exit out. The other games, actually, that I was surprised to find in here and surprised that they actually worked were, let's see, where is it at? I want to show you. And I do have all the King of Fighters. Oh, here they are. So yeah, Killer Instinct 1 and 2. So they both do work. And it was just really nice to find these games. These are kind of rare simply because I've always used RetroPie and a Raspberry Pi. So these games have never run on those systems. So very nice to finally have a arcade cabinet with these games included. So really cool. So if you are planning to do a build, I would highly recommend CoinOps. This particular build I was able to find on arcadepunks.com. It is a pretty beefy file. It's about 39 gigs, but if you have the space, you will find that it is a very worthwhile download. So yes, very much do recommend CoinOps. Just the simplicity of it. You can't do a whole lot of customizations, but it's just super easy. And one of the settings too that I found is that you can actually add kind of like the CRT bezel. So I'll show you guys right now. So if you can see it, it shows the bezel, and then there is a filter that kind of warps it a little bit, makes it look like basically like a CRT monitor. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.